At the fetal pig, Cassandra opened up the sternum, so we exposed the pericardial sac as well as the abdominal cavity. So then starting from the top of the alimentary canal, you can see we have the oral cavity, which contains the teeth, the tongue, and the lingual frenulum that attaches the tongue to the bottom of the mouth. Right, and remember last time we saw the trachea on the sheet, and it had the hyaline cartilage surrounding. So the trachea is right here. We can use this as a marker to help us find the esophagus. So the esophagus will be posterior and lateral to the trachea. So we want to dig a little bit. And right here is the esophagus. Okay, so that rubber band-like structure is the esophagus. Okay, the esophagus then will cut through and lead us down into what's the next part of the alimentary canal? The stomach. Good. So the stomach is this deflated sac right here. And then if we cut a little further, we could probably see where the esophagus connects to the stomach, but we don't have to worry about that for this one.
If you were going to pin the esophagus, what would it look like?
If what?
If you were going to put a pin in the esophagus.
I could do this.
Yeah, do that.
Esophagus. What organ is that? Or structure? Esophagus. Yeah. So let's do that.
And that's right next to the trachea?
Mm-hmm. And you can tell that this is the trachea because it has the ridges. This is the esophagus because it's next to it and it looks something like that. So then here's the stomach again. And then the stomach leads into what next?
The small intestine.
Small intestine. So the small intestine is so crowded and clustered that we can't tell the difference between the specific regions. So don't worry about that here. But just be able to identify this is the small intestine. Okay, from the small intestine it leads to what next?
The large intestine.
The large intestine. So the entrance to the large intestine is the cecum. The cecum is right here, and it looks like a finger.
Is there an appendix there you can see?
Pigs don't have an appendix, so only the cecum. And then from the cecum, we have the rest of the large intestine. Again, don't worry about identifying the different regions for the large intestine.
Would we have to know the cecum?
Yes. So
that could
structures.
There could be a little pin sticking in the cecum.
Mm-hmm. Hint, hint, possibly. Alright, so from the large intestine, feels like there's something in there. From the large intestine, you want to, it goes into
Pig poop.
the rectum. So the rectum is the passage of the feces. If we look at the mucosal layer, what will we see a lot of there? Goblet cells, good. And then from the rectum, we have
The anus.
externally, we have the anus. Okay? And
If
so
you
we
were going to pin the rectum or the anus, it would just be...
rectum, just right there. Anus, right there. Alright, so then we also have the accessory digestive organs. The first one that we see and the most obvious is the liver. So the liver is pretty large. You can see the two lobes, the right lobe here, left lobe here, and then directly underneath the liver, we have the gallbladder.
Looks like a little leaf.
Yeah, and it's pretty green because bile. It's gonna look kind of
So it
green.
almost looks like part of the liver.
It almost looks like it's a part of it. Okay, and then besides the liver and the gallbladder for accessory digestive organs, we also have to identify the pancreas. The pancreas looks like a chewed up piece of gum, and it's going to be really posterior. So it's
Behind the
right there. And we put a pin on it. That's the pancreas, right there. Alright, so those are all the structures that you have to identify, but then you can also look further and see all of the other systems that we've been through before.